I still feel like, especially when I'm reading online, like there's still a lot of web designers and businesses that seem like they're still huddled in the fetal position in the corner after the March core update. And it sounds like there is a new core update that is coming soon. I think some people are saying they're starting to see changes already right now. So we're wondering, do you know anything about this new core update? Do you have any skinny or any details about what might be coming up that can help prepare everybody for what's about to happen?
So there's never any way to really prepare for it, right? And Google will tell you the same thing. When it comes to core updates, it's them trying to provide better results to their users. It's not that you did anything, generally speaking, it's not that you did anything wrong or that you can really do anything to make it better. But this particular one is talking about that. I'll go to like Search Engine Land or Moz or Search Engine Watch or place Search Engine Journal. There's a lot of these out there. You can just typically Google, Google's August core update, 2024 update, and you'll get some information. So it looks like it actually just rolled out today, began the rollout. Most of these things take a little while, a couple weeks to a month or so. And it does appear to be that they're getting, the focus seems to be that they're really rolling out the idea of smaller businesses that have, smaller and independent publishers that are still providing great content. So, it felt like, I think a lot of us have seen this where some of the, I've seen it happen a lot. And let's say the real estate is a good example, right? Years ago, I remember when I first moved down, I was working with a couple of real estate agents. You typed in, new homes in Tampa. And the top 10 listings were all these independent realtors in town, right? And you can go talk to a realtor and they help you find a house and blah, blah, blah. Now, most of what you're seeing are these big listing services, the Zillows, the Homes.com, the Realtor.com, or some of the big giant, retail, realtors like Berkshire Hathaway and what's the big, that slipped my mind like some of the big ones.
Remax,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, those kind of things. And so it's changed, right? That whole thing changed. So what they're trying to good content from folks that aren't quite as big, right? There's plenty of great content that the one-man shop is putting out, an expert in the field is putting out, but that they're not being surfaced because it's kind of being beat out by these giant brands with all this value and all this information. So they're trying to service it. And I remember they did something like this long before Google Business Profiles really were very popular. I think it was called Venice. I think that was the updates way back when, Google Venice. Pretty sure that was the one. And what they were doing was they were trying to surface local-based businesses in the organic search over the big brands, depending on where you were located. And so, for example, I remember I had a client that sold Motorola phones, okay, Motorola phones. And when you typed in Motorola phones at the time, you had Motorola showed up number one, and then they showed up because they were national. You had like Best Buy and a few others showing up. But at the bottom of that organic list, those blue links, right? At the bottom, when I did it here in Tampa, there was a couple places that sold these Motorola phones here in Tampa. Back then, you could also kind of tell Google in different ways to make believe I'm in New York and do the same search. And you get those same top 8 or so were the same, but those bottom 2 now are from New York-based sellers that had Motorola phones. So it sounds a lot like they're doing something like this. Again, we won't really know the ramifications of this for a little while as it's just rolling out, but it does look like they're trying to focus a bit more on content that is quality content. Google's all about quality. That's for the users from smaller, and they're putting it smaller and independent publishers. That being said, it also appears that they're still trying to get rid of content that is just written for search, right? So content that is out there strictly to try to get found, but not offering a ton of details for the user, a ton of value for the users. Now we're keeping an eye on this internally, especially for our local businesses, where we tend to build out a lot of city and service pages within those cities. So just for argument's sake, around here, where I've got Tampa, St. Pete, and Clearwater, three of the biggest cities. They're all kind of clustered together here. And so some clients, they want to get found in St. Pete, Clearwater, and Tampa. So we'll create a St. Pete page, a Clearwater page, and a Tampa page. And if they do dog training, right, we may have Tampa/dog training, Tampa/puppy training. Then we have Clearwater dog training, Clearwater puppy training, and then we have St. Pete dog training, and so on. So it's like duplicate content in essence, but as long as the content on those pages is somewhat unique and not generally just a swap out of a keyword, your city keyword, you should be okay, and it should add value. So we don't know what the ramifications are going to be about this just yet. A quote from John Mueller about this is that the core update aims to better capture improvements that sites may have made so we can continue to surface the best of the web. Again, it's just them trying to put out the best stuff. The quote from the Google search blog says, "Today we launched our August 2024 core update to Google Search. This update is designed to continue our work to improve the quality of our search results by showing more content that people find genuinely useful and less content that feels like it was made just to perform well on search." What does that mean again? Users. As I said throughout this whole presentation here, we're talking, it's all about the user. If what you do, if you put out great content for users, if you help the user, you make the user have more information and more value, it's going to bode well for you in Google. So always think about your users. Think about their experience. Think about what they're looking for. Think about answering all their questions about what they may have questions about for that particular product or service that you may be offering. Do everything that you can to make your user experience freaking awesome, right? Whether that be it looks good, it's fast, it works on mobile, it's easy to use, it's easy to find stuff, it's easy to get to you through contacts or texting or messaging, whatever it may be. Make sure you focus on your users and make sure that the content that you put out is directed to your users, helps them understand your topic, your service, your product as best as possible, and answers all the questions they could possibly ever want, to the point where they go, wow, this is really good. I'm going to save this, or I'm going to share this, or I'm going to bookmark this so I can get back to it. That's great content. And let's face it, you've all done that. You've all been on the web. You've found something on the web, and wow, this is great, and you bookmark it or you save it. Or like what I do, tend to find a lot of stuff on like the social networks, and so I don't lose it. I'll email myself the link so I can get it that way. And I have a whole listing of these links that I've saved to go back to look at it again or rewatch it again and so on. And so that's the kind of content you're looking to build. There's an old line we used to use in the classes. It was, don't build links, create content that people want to link to. And that's the golden rule right there. If you create a great piece of content that people go, wow, this is great. This is amazing. Look at this. Whether that be an amazing recipe with great pictures and ingredients and people go, wow, this is awesome. Everybody's saying, wow, it's the best whatever pot roast they've ever had. And all these reviews are coming up, and then people are going to love it. People are going to like it. And Google's going to go, everybody seems to like this. They're sharing it on social. They're liking it on the thing. They're commenting on it on the webpage. They've bookmarked it. They've done all this other stuff with it. That's going to give you more value than if you just have a page that's just trying to get found for a keyword phrase that Google is looking for. Well, users are looking for on Google, excuse me.
It'll be interesting to see if, I know we've had questions and we've made videos about blogs getting killed, certain blogs getting killed ever since March. It'll be interesting to see if some of that smaller person content starts coming back a little bit now. Maybe they realize we overcorrected and we need to ratchet back a little bit more, or I don't know.
Yeah, and that's pretty common, right? Like, I think the numbers were like Google makes like between like 3,000 and 5,000 changes a year. I mean, that's a ton of changes, right? Most of them are very, very minor, very tiny little things. And to kind of put it into perspective, I used to always think of it and explain it as if you remember, like I remember as a kid in my car, I had an equalizer, right? All the different all the different levels that go up and down for bass and treble and mid range and so on, right? Okay.
Man.
And so think about it, right? So if you're playing rock music versus blues versus electronica, whatever, those levels that you change up and down, right, make the sound different. It makes it better or worse. Okay. So think of all the ranking algorithms, like in some basement somewhere on Google, there's like 200 ranking factor levers, and they're raising and lowering them a little bit. Say, okay, if I do this, does it sound better? Is it a better result? And if it is, they probably leave it there. And if it's not, they might put it back. So they're making all these little minor adjustments all the time to see, are we getting better, more effective, results that our users like, that keep them around, that keep them staying here, because if they stay on the page and they stay on Google, then Google can sell more ads and make more money doing what they do. And so it benefits them to continuously improve, even by tiny little bits. And so we really don't know the impact of this until, it finishes rolling out and we see who goes up, who goes down, and who benefits, and who gets clobbered.